I am Susie Murph. Welcome to Daily Space if you've wondered what you've stumbled into. And I am here to put science in your brain. Welcome to Monday. And I'm telling you, this Monday is lit. Well, it may not really be lit, but our first story describes how we can understand the light disk around black holes in a truly new and spectacular way. Last year, the Event Horizon Telescope people shared the highest resolution image ever acquired of a region surrounding a black hole. This fuzzy orange donut shows how light and hot light emitting material This fuzzy orange donut shows us how light and hot light emitting material swarms the supermassive black hole in the core of galaxy M87. Over the past year, a lot of folks have asked us to try and explain the asymmetric orange blob, and we've done our best. But it turns out that if an image causes 100 questions, a video may answer 1,000. So a team led by Michael Johnson of the Harvard Center for Astrophysics has modeled how light shining towards a black hole, but with bad aim that causes it to miss the black hole, can get bent to trace out rings and arcs of light. Let me flip over and play that video for you. There we go. There! As you can see, this is a super cool video. Let me see if I can pull my script out. There. Alright. This video, which you can see in the show notes on our site as well, looks into how closer end paths lead to sharper lines as trapped light follows close-in orbits, while a fuzzy outer glow comes for the lazier paths of on-target light. There, I'll have it playing again. These paths are called photon rings. Since light that passes close to the star has less distance to cover, this light may swing wide around the black hole numerous times before traveling to the observer, creating the bright rings seen in this simulation. Light farther out, with larger orbits that take longer to travel, will have been retraced a few times, creating fuzzier and fuzzier appearing rings, fainter and fuzzier appearing rings. While these fine structures can't be seen in the fuzzy donut from the Event Horizon Telescope, there is the possibility of obtaining images that can see them with the near future technology. Sorry, I'm reading and I'm trying to figure out when I'm supposed to switch slides. Okay, in the article on this research published in Science Advances, the team describes how two radio telescopes spread between our planet's surface and orbit would have sufficient resolution to map out these delicate structures and reveal the nature of a black hole. It turns out that simple factors like how fast a black hole is spinning, can have major relativistic effects on how light near the black hole travels. And someday we may be able to image stack the rings of light around a black hole to study the otherwise unmeasurable characteristics of these light-eating dense objects. And we can't stress this enough. Black holes themselves do not shine light. The blackness we see in the Event Horizon image is the shadow in space where a black hole says to the light that gets too close, "Thou shalt not pass," and then traps that light forever within its Schwarzschild radius. So while black holes don't emit light, the light that's falling towards them can become extraordinarily dense and light up with its own nuclear reactions. Thought I started that video for y'all again. There. And it radiates massive quantities of light. This material, called an accretion disk, is responsible for the bright light coming from quasars and other kinds of active galaxies. It's also responsible for a whole lot of misleading headlines, including the headline for our next story. Blistering radiation from active black hole snowplows immense amounts of mechanical energy through space. To be clear, radiation, which is a fancy word for light, is responsible for any energy redistribution discussed in the next few minutes. Okay, let me stop this and go back to the right place for my slides real quick. Sorry, because I had to switch out. There we go. I'm learning how to make this go on the fly. All right, to my next slide. I feel quite accomplished that I got that up where it was supposed to be. All right. Astronomers using the Hubble Space Telescope to study quasar light and then working to model it using computers have published a series of 6 research papers in the Astrophysical Journal supplements. They describe how this immensely energetic disk can drive the formation of powerful jets that push out through intergalactic space, and also generate a quasar wind inside the galaxy, much like our own star's solar wind, that pushes material outwards. These jets and winds dump more energy than any other phenomena, even more than gamma ray bursts. This has the effect of pushing back inner material in the galaxy and damping star formation, and pushing back on surrounding extragalactic material slows the growth of the galaxy. This research starts to finally show the physics linkages between galaxy size, black hole size, and dynamics by following the energy interactions while a galaxy grows. It also hints at limiting factors on how galaxies can grow. This is just a start, but it is a 6-paper start. We look forward to seeing how this research defines the reasons we see the size of a supermassive black hole correlated to a galaxy's spheroid size. Okay. We're already starting to see the flow of news slow down as faculty all around the world struggle to figure out how to teach online. My daughter is having this experience herself. She's home from college and all of her classes have just gone online. My son is home from high school and all of his classes have gone online. And he is in an IB program and International Baccalaureate, and they have just decided to not have IB exams this year. So everything is changing. And this is definitely going to be a school year where everybody who graduates high school or is in college, there's going to be a big asterisk probably next to everyone's grades and credits this semester, at the very least. So everyone is trying to figure out how to do stuff. And delays are coming in as people are setting up their computers to work on random surfaces in their house. So tomorrow, Pamela will be doing a roundup of COVID-19 related science impacts that we are already seeing. And trust me, in my house, we are already seeing quite a lot. For now, we're just going to mention a few quick notes that under more normal times might get skipped over. So researchers at the University of California of Santa Barbara are developing new detectors that cram more light-sensing pixels into tiny spaces than prior detectors have been able to. These powerful new ultra-sensitive superconducting photon sensors, called MKIDs, have been tested using the Palomar Observatory's 200-inch telescope and will soon be installed on the 8-meter Subaru telescope in Hawaii. It is hoped that their great speed and capabilities will improve the quality of the telescope's adaptive optics, allowing it to obtain higher resolution images on Earth than had previously been possible. With better sensors and better adaptive optics, they are hoping to better image Earth-sized planets in the habitable zone of alien stars. This work is still in its early days, but they believe they will one day be able to detect and characterize temperate Earth-sized planets around nearby low-mass stars using ground-based massive telescopes. Alright, and then in one final bit of planetary news, astronomers have looked at a dozen planetary systems that have formed around binary stars. Called Tatooine systems, in a reference to Star Wars, these systems exhibit some neat relationships between the star's orbits and the planet's orbits. The illustration that accompanies this story may mislead folks. In general, the planets orbit in circles, but those circles look like ovals when you rotate the planet's orbit relative to the star's orbit. This lack of alignment is exactly what happens in systems where the stars have longer orbits. This means that these systems where the planets are orbiting in and out of the sky, toward and away from us, we will observe planets going in a polite circle in the sky when the orbit is long, This is the left image. This was seen for HD 9880b in its 315-day orbit. In a system where the stars are still orbiting towards and away from us but in a shorter orbit, the planets will also orbit away, toward and away from us, nicely aligned, which is the right image, as seen in AK Scotai, where the stars orbit 13.6 days. So you can see that they have some really interesting orbits, some really interesting pictures, a little bit of craziness going on in that. I think it's cool that they call them Tatooine stars because they're binary star systems, like the Star Wars reference. Well, all right, that's all that we've got. Tomorrow, Pamela will be back with more science. But that rounds out our show for today. And let me go ahead and give my spiel here. As you guys get your questions ready, please go ahead into the chat and list your questions. I will go ahead and put that up on the screen. Please go ahead and put your questions in the chat and try to use the little purple circle with the purple star in the middle. Dr. Pamela is in the chat with us, so she can help answer any science questions you guys have. All right, as part of keeping us all occupied in these really weird times, we're going to be hosting a lot of additional content on our Twitch channel. And we want to remind you that CosmoQuest has an active community on Discord where you can talk science and find other people to join you in playing some online games. You can find links to everything that's going on at CosmoQuest.org. And thank you all for listening. Today's script was written by Pamela Gay, and The Daily Space is produced by me, Susie Murph. The Daily Space is a production of the Planetary Science Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to exploring the solar system and beyond. We are here thanks to the generous contributions of people like you. The best way you can support us is through patreon.com/CosmoQuestX. If you like us, please share. You never know whose life you might change by adding a daily dose of science. All right, I am closing out my slides and my script so I can come over and look at the chat, which I actually have up in a regular Twitch window right now. Closing all of these extra things. So let's see, do we have questions? So, going back to look at my questions. Sorry, having to scroll back a little bit. Each of the light beams think they're traveling in a straight line, correct? That's from Haney's Vorwerk. And I'm trying to remember which story that is from, but hopefully Dr. Pamela can talk about the one that had the light beams. Oh, but Haney says she didn't mean to start that. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I really don't know. I just know Haney's regular. Okay, Keeper of Maps has a question. If two atoms are collided to make a microscopic black hole, how would that be different from fusion? And Dr. Pamela says, fusion would produce a new element. It is way lower energy that is dictated by what particles went into it. With a collision, it all goes straight to energy. And that energy does whatever it wants. If it's a small enough volume, that would be a black hole. Teeny tiny black hole. So DPI says, so collision creating a micro black hole would be similar to annihilation. I think so. All right, Veronica Cure had a question. Is it less likely for a planet to be habitable in a binary system compared to one star? And Dr. Pamela, who's Star Strider, she says, we don't know enough about the statistics yet to know. So I get it probably depends on a lot of things, like how close the orbit is to the star, how much radiation is there, whether or not the planet has a magnetic core. So does it have a magnetic field to protect it from radiation? Because that would make a big difference depending on how close it is to its star. There's a lot of things that would make you wonder whether or not a planet could have, could be habitable. So, a lot of things. And if Dr. Pamela corrects me on anything, she's the one who's right, because she's the astronomer. I'm just the producer. But I'm happy to be here. Let's see. I still have interference between a mic and something else. I don't have things nearby. Please let me know if things sound better. I don't know what I have interference with. So my apologies. I can't hear it, so I don't know what is going on with the sound. It may be a bad cable then, or my headphones may be the issue. It's possible these are a new set. Sounds like a fan banging on something. I'm definitely not hearing a fan banging on something. But we will try multiple things to figure out what's going on. May have to switch to my fancier headphones that probably have better wiring, because these are just regular cheap earbuds. It was gone when I moved my head down left, like this way. Does it sound gone now? Is it the autofocus of my camera? Does moving the wire help? I'm moving the wire. Does that make sense? Thank you all for helping me troubleshoot this, because I cannot hear this. I am not hearing the problem, so okay, when my head went down, this problem went away. Moving the cable does nothing. Okay, good. Okay, please feel free to give me suggestions on what in the world that could do that when I duck my head down, it goes away. Okay. I'll take off my headphones. Is that better? Does that sound better now? Different headphones and recable things. Okay, headphones didn't work. Something isn't shielded. Unplugged headphones from the computer. And lean over again. This is like a party game, trying to figure out what's going on. Does that sound any better? Sounds like a Geiger counter. Hi, Crazy Talk Owl. All you hear are the dulcet tones of my voice. Okay, so if that worked, I turned off the button I have where I plug in my headphones. I turned that off, so it is something to do with my speakers and headphone jack. So it sounds better now. Everybody says it sounds better. Then we may have narrowed down the problem. So it is where I have to plug in headphones. So I may just not have to not wear headphones in there. A hidden variable, exactly. Thank you so much for being patient and helping me problem solve a little bit around here. No, it's not a Geiger counter. I promise, no Geiger counters in my house. It is not radiation. Yes, rule number 1 for CosmoQuest. No dying. That is our rule. I haven't even gotten sick, so no dying. Definitely. Although apparently one of my husband's coworkers did have COVID-19 and ended up in the hospital briefly, but is much better now. And my husband has coughs and he's had something. But the kids and I have had no symptoms. And we are all self-isolating and doing what we're supposed to do. I have not been out of the house to go anywhere but to pick up stuff at the pharmacy and to visit a friend who was already exposed at the same time I was. Those are the only places I've gone, so we've had the same amount of exposure. Yes, if you hear coughing in the background, that is my husband. He is feeling much better. He just has a lingering, annoying cough. He has not had any fever symptoms and stuff. So, yes. We are all self-isolating and limiting our contact with people outside of our direct group and trying to be very practical. He and I are both Gen X, so we're taking this seriously because we don't want to get anybody else sick and we don't want to be around other sick people. And so we are washing our hands, we are staying home, everybody's behaving. So I hope you all out there are doing well as well and limiting your exposure and washing your hands a lot and not touching your face, because who knew how much we all wanted to touch our face until this happened, for sure. And yeah, save the medical stuff, all the medical supplies and all that for the people in the hospital who need them. If you do have symptoms, call your doctor first to find out what they want you to do. John called and his doctor said, just self-isolate at home unless your symptoms, start having difficulty breathing. If your pain gets too high, then call us back and we'll tell you what to do. I think they have started some very limited testing in our area. So if the health department sends you over, you can get a test, but it's taking a couple of days for that stuff to get out. So yeah. If you have symptoms and you have to go out around people, then wear a mask, but not the fancy ones. Just wear something to keep the droplets from going out. Leave the important stuff to the medical professionals, please. They really, really, really need it. And thank your medical professionals tremendously for being out there on the front lines and protecting all of us and taking care of everybody. And your delivery people and your garbage people and all of the people that are out there still doing the things that are extremely required for society to continue in any which way it possibly can. All right. I think at this point, does anybody else have any science questions? Because Dr. Pamela is here in the chat and can answer questions. But if nobody has any other ones, I will go ahead and let y'all go so I can work on the podcast and the blog posts and getting everything else out for you. Dr. Pamela will be back tomorrow to talk about a lot of the science impacts of what this virus has had on everything and everybody. Later today, we're going to have the Astronomy Cast episode from Friday. It will go out as a podcast, and in it, Dr. Pamela and Fraser Kane talked a lot about what's going on with the coronavirus and everything. So you'll hear that later today too. I'll be spending my afternoon doing podcasts and blog posts and getting everything out for all of you. In the meantime, I hope everyone stays healthy and safe, and sending love from CosmoQuest out to you and all of your friends and family and loved ones. And hang in there. We're going to get through this together. And don't forget, you can check out our Discord server. If you're going stir crazy and you need people to talk to who are fellow, science geeks or game geeks or whatever, go check out our Discord. We've got places where you can play games with people online. You can talk to people. You can vent. Everybody is stressed out, and it is okay to not be okay right now. This is somewhat unprecedented. If you have kids and teenagers and they like to write, you may encourage them to journal a little bit about what's going on and how they're feeling. This is the kind of stuff that historians are going to look back on, and they're going to go, what was it like during the days? And while there's a lot of people blogging about this stuff, journals will be important too. A friend of mine is a history major, and she was talking about how she read Civil War journals, from families that were back in that time. And this is one of those kind of things where we're going to want to remember how individual people were dealing with stuff and what it was like. So I know my son was going to start writing a little bit himself and stuff. So yeah, I think, encourage your friends and family to journal, and it's good for your mental health to just kind of write down how you're feeling. Get your feelings out. All right. Oh, Finn Mill, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Dreamboat 68. That is so awesome. You guys are amazing. Let me put some emotes in the chat and tell you how wonderful you all are. And we're gonna get out through this together. We're going to keep talking to you pretty much every day, or at least most days. We're going to bring you some stuff to look at. You guys can talk to each other here. We are all here for each other virtually. Stay at home and stay where you don't go out more than you absolutely have to, but talk to people online. Talk to your friends, check on your friends and family. Make sure everybody's doing okay. Thank you, Finn Mill. Yeah, he's a new mod. He's my friend, so I made him a mod the other day. Because he's working at home, he can watch. So thank you so much for fixing that sub. And you guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. Y'all are the best audience we could ever ask for. And we send you much love. And we will talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you for the follow. Don't drink and drive, bro. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to let y'all go. Let's see if I can. I will try to run some credits. If they don't run, don't worry. I'll put them in post. You guys have a good one.